Hey fam, in today's video we will cover what a product requirements document or PRD is and share 5 things to keep in mind when writing this document. If you are applying to associate product manager roles or product internships, PRDs is something that you will definitely be asked about during interviews. To share a personal experience, a few years ago when I was applying to Google's Associate Product Manager program or APM, during my interviews I was asked what is a PRD and how to build a product spec. I had no clue back then what a PRD was because I was not exposed to that in any of my classes in college. And this is one of the main reasons that motivated us to put this video together, so that whenever you're asked what is a PRD, you're able to answer that question successfully. If you're currently a PM or transitioning into this role, this video will help you build a good foundation on what to keep in mind when writing PRDs, because you'll be spending a lot of time working on these documents. If you are an engineer, a designer, a marketer, or a founder working on building a new product or feature, this document will help you think of the end-to-end experience of the product you are building. If you're new to our channel, welcome! My name is Dante and I'm a product manager. If you're interested in working in tech and are looking for career guidance, this is the channel for you. Our goal is to provide you with practical advice and knowledge to help you enter and thrive in the tech industry. Let's jump right in. So what is a PRD? The Product Requirements Document, or PRD for short, is a document that is primarily written by a product manager that answers 3 fundamental questions. Number 1, why should we build a product? Number 2, what should the product do? And number 3, how do we measure the success of that product? Without a PRD, teams will have a lot of different assumptions about the product and the features that need to be developed. For example, the design team may be thinking of a feature in a certain way, while the engineering team may have a completely different perspective on it. Documenting requirements solves that problem. A PRD aligns stakeholders around the key capabilities that will be delivered in a new product, helping everyone from engineering to design, customer support, and sales to effectively collaborate to build an end-to-end experience that will make customers happy. The PRD also helps to balance the engineering team's functional concerns with the design team's focus on usability. To summarize, a PRD is a document that is written by the product manager to create a shared understanding of the purpose of a product across the team. Here are a few things to keep in mind when writing a PRD. Number 1, focus on the problem, not the solution. The goal of the PRD is to explain what the product should do, not how it should be built. The PRD should be a guideline for engineering, design, and UX research teams to follow when designing solutions, not a recipe to follow. Number 2, be concise. The PRD should be as concise as possible and no more than a few pages long. Avoid lengthy documents at all costs. No one is going to read a PRD entirely if it's too long, and it will actually cause more work for you because they may ping you by questions that you may have already covered in the PRD. So make sure to keep it short and sweet. Number 3, keep the PRD up to date. Good product managers keep their PRDs updated on a daily or weekly basis, and they understand that the PRD is an ongoing process. The PRD is a living document that evolves as our team iterates, and it is our responsibility as PMs to document any decisions or assumptions being made along the way for future reference. One way you can do this is by adding a recent update section at the top of the PRD with 2 columns. The first one for the date of the update, and the second one to provide a brief description of the update and keep everyone informed. Number 4, get feedback from your stakeholders. The purpose of the PRD is to get everyone aligned on the same page to avoid misunderstandings about what we are building. Think of the PRD as a tool for collaboration. Make sure to share the document and get your stakeholders involved, especially the engineering and design teams. Encourage them to post their questions in the document, provide feedback, and share key lessons that they've learned from other product launches. Lastly, number 5. You know you have written a good PRD when you apply the rule of 5, which states that if you ask 5 random team members about the product's purpose, timeline, status, and features, they should all be able to give you roughly a similar answer. By keeping these 5 things in mind, you will drive clarity across your team and ensure that everyone has a clear understanding of what the product should do and why you are building it. Why do PMs write PRDs? By putting our ideas into a document and reviewing it with our stakeholders, it will help us accomplish 3 things. Number 1, building out a PRD helps product managers fully think through what the end-to-end experience of a product should be. Writing things down forces PMs to think about dependencies, like internal systems, resources, or teams that may be needed or impacted when building out your product. Number 2, writing a PRD helps product managers identify the must-haves versus the nice-to-have features of a product and helps us prioritize the essential components that need to be built out by engineering to have a minimum viable product or MVP ready. Number 3, shared understanding. Listing out our ideas in a document allows PMs to validate their assumptions and brings the noise down when someone says, "I don't know what that PM is building." It is very important for a PRD to be clearly written because a number of other documents will be created by other stakeholders in the organization. For example, engineers will create a technical specification, also called a spec, which describes how each user story in the PRD will be implemented, and they may also create an architectural design document. The product design team will create wireframes and mockups as needed, and the quality assurance team, or QA, will write out a test plan to ensure that every use case in the PRD is working as expected and document any bugs or defects that they may come across. To recap, product managers spend a lot of their time answering the question of what should the product do and aligning teams to execute against the product vision. The product requirements document, or PRD, is one of the most useful tools in a PM's toolbox to accomplish that. The key takeaways from this video are: number 1, the PRD is a document that is written primarily by a product manager to answer why a product should be built and what it should do. Number 2, the PRD should not answer how the product should be built. It is up to the engineering and design teams to come up with how to implement the product. Number 3, keep the PRD concise, up to date, and involve your stakeholders to provide their feedback and questions directly in the document. If you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and share with someone whom you think can benefit from it. If you have any questions or know of any PRD tips, please share them in the comments down below. In our next video, we will be covering how to write a PRD and share an example with you. So stay tuned. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you in our next video. Bye!